Hi, everybody. We're here talking about pre-birth decisions that you made before you came to this earth, and in particular, how you chose your parents and the environment that you grew up in. Now, if you watch this channel, you'll know that it's about law of attraction. But how does law of attraction relate to the fact that you choose your parents before you're born? Um, it has to do with a deeper understanding of law of attraction. A lot of people study law of attraction in terms of manifesting things, like you want to be given flowers, or you want more money, or you want a better relationship. But if you really want to understand law of attraction, it goes deeper than that, because what law of attraction at its base is about is the fact that you are energy and you exist in an energetic world where you're interacting with everything and everyone through your energy, and they're interacting with you through their energy before you see them, and while you're not seeing them, your energy is interacting and communicating with other energies. So to understand that, you understand the depth at which you are a creator. You're creating when you're sitting in your living room watching TV. You're creating your next day by what you're focusing on. Your energy is creating what is around you all the time. And so when you understand the law of attraction at that depth, you understand that you have always been a creator. At the core of your being, that is who you are. And you were a creator before you came to earth. And you created your life for yourself before you came to earth. And at the core of it, this concept is about understanding that in a way that you maybe have not before. And it's a way of taking full responsibility for your life and where you're going in your life, and harnessing those powers of being a creator so that you can create more of what you want. So I came to this idea through meditation and through talking with my inner being, and also through my near-death experience. And if you go and look at other people's near-death experiences that have come into contact with this idea, you will find a lot of people have had near-death experiences where they're told, or where they understand or remember, that they chose their parents and they set up their birth environment before they were born. So before you were born, you looked upon earth energetically, and you looked at the different options that were available to you for parents. And you had guides, because we always have guides helping us through each step that we take as we go through this life experience. You had guides that helped you pick out different options for parents, and you were always the one that made the final decision, even though the guides showed you from their perspective and from their experience what they thought would be good options for you. This doesn't mean that you chose the easiest life that you could choose and the easiest parents that you could be with. You chose, and this may help some of you that had a very difficult upbringing, you chose to give yourself a challenge that whatever you learned from that challenge would help you build and become and learn what you wanted to become in life and what you wanted to learn in life. So a lot of times that wasn't choosing parents that gave you a lot of love easily, or a lot of support, or a lot of physical things. A lot of times that was not having those things so that you would learn the value and importance of them, and maybe how to create them by yourself, and how to become a stronger, better creator, because you understood what it was like not to have that, and you put yourself in a position then that made you create that step by step all by yourself. And that will give you a much stronger understanding of what those things really mean, and would help you help other people create them too. The people that have the hardest lives, and the most difficult situations, that come into the most difficult situations, are energetic beings that wanted a challenge, and felt that they were ready to, and strong enough to really learn something useful from it, and as they develop through it, become a much bigger energetic being, and usually use that learning in the world. So anytime I come across anyone with a very hard background, I have a lot of respect for them just for having chosen that. Now, I want to make this very, very clear, is you don't choose a hard upbringing to punish yourself, ever. You don't choose a hard upbringing because it sounds good to have a hard life. You choose it for what comes afterwards, which is whenever you come to Earth, you plan to have a good life. Even if that means, from a larger perspective, you might know that it might be harder at first, but you plan to grow through that and learn through that and thrive because of what you learned in your earlier experiences. And if you're not doing that, you didn't come here because of karma, you didn't put yourself in a bad position to as some kind of punishment. You would only do it if you knew that you could grow through it. And if you haven't done that yet, what that means is you just haven't found the keys to do that yet. But everything is there for you, as long as you realize that and you choose to move on from it. Nobody put themselves here to suffer. There is no value in just suffering just for the suffering. So that was not your plan ever. There could have been a plan to have a hard time, learn from it, and thrive then because of it. And if you think about it, if you have everything that you want when you come to Earth, if you're given all the love and support and physical things that you ever need, there really is no impetus to grow or to change or to become more than you are, or to get new skills, develop new skills, because you have everything already. So there is great advantage in having some difficulties when you come in, and if you feel you're up to it, you may design a life where you have a lot more difficulties when you come in. And as I always say when I'm talking about law of attraction, that doesn't mean that other people aren't responsible for their behavior if their behavior was hurt someone else. They are still responsible for that. And that responsibility lies with them, and ownership of that lies with them. But you are responsible for where you put yourself and moving yourself to a place that you can feel better and feel good. When I learned this and when I really integrated this knowledge into my life and fully understood it, it helped me enormously move from a sense of being a victim to a sense of being a creator. Because if you've had a harder life at the beginning, there's always a temptation to just use that as an excuse for why you might not be doing well or why you might not be learning things later in your life. And for me, that's what I used over and over, was an excuse to why I wasn't thriving in my adult life. So taking that excuse away from me sort of helped me understand my own power, because I knew then that wasn't the reason. So I couldn't be like, oh, like my mom died when I was 12. I couldn't just be like, oh, my mom died when I was 12, therefore I have a shitty life or shitty relationships now, because I knew that I hadn't planned to have a bad life. I had only, if that was the case, that I had planned to go through that, I only did that because I wanted to learn things and grow from it and become a bigger person because of it. And once I connected with that idea and I understood that, then I started seeing what I really got from that situation and how I could move forward and become more because of that, and because of other situations when I was young and different limiting beliefs that everybody learns from their childhood in one way or another. And in that case, not only did I learn how to find a connection inside myself and locate love and support inside myself, but I also learned how to have a connection with people who have passed on, and learned that relationships don't end just because somebody dies physically in the world and transitions into their energetic being again. So I learned to have a eternal connection. I learned that all our connections with everyone here really are eternal, and that gave me a lot of peace and helped me deal with grief in a whole different way than I had been trying to do before. So, but I came to that point by understanding that I chose difficulties in my life for a certain reason, to grow from them. So I would recommend that if you look at your life and you start understanding how you choose your parents, and that you did choose your parents, I would recommend writing down then things that you have got from that early environment, whether they're obviously good or like obviously were difficult situations that you learned from later. So when I went back and looked at my life, I was like, wow, there's so much here that really could benefit me if I use it to benefit me, as opposed to complaining about what I didn't have. Like, it changed my whole focus to look at what I had versus what I didn't have. And when I started doing that, I started seeing things in my childhood that really benefited me, and obviously did benefit me, were good things that I had even just ignored because I was focusing on the difficult times. So this understanding really has changed my life and my whole perspective, and I've been able to come forth into a position as a creator versus a victim in a whole new way. And that's what I'm hoping for all of you, is that understanding this can bring you into a different understanding of your position on earth, why you're here on earth, and what you're doing and what you came to do, which is really to be a creator and to thrive and to create amazing things out there, as well as inside yourself, and with connections with other people and the world and animals and plants and the earth. So I would go back and write down all the things that you got from your early childhood, whether it's obviously good or obviously bad from somebody else's eyes. That's all I have for now. If you're interested in individual sessions, you can go to consciouscreativelife.com. You can also sign up for the mailing list there if you want to be notified when new videos come out. Thanks all for being here.